I'm still a little puffy. So I'm not going to take up too much of everybody's time here. But you'll notice the head executive, the CFO, CEO, whatever, of United Healthcare was gunned down in Manhattan today with a pistol at some range. And it seemed like a targeted attack. It seemed like a definite hit. And the thing of concern, and why I'm speaking right now as compelled, is that the TikTok post, when and I put a community post up, and I even, yes, I tagged the Federal Bureau of Intimidation because, these are the things that really concern me. You know, it was a few weeks ago, we had a TikTok liberal person saying that, yeah, if you come across any white males, she said not in broad daylight, but yeah, after dark, that she would just shoot them. Remember that? Yeah, the patriarchy. Remember that? Remember that unhinged bull dyke wearing a pair of aviator glasses that said she would just shoot any white male that she saw after dark? Did you do anything about that? Did you remove that post? Did you question that individual? So now we have another individual on TikTok, and I'm sure there's plenty, hordes more actually, saying that this this assassination, a successful one, of the United Healthcare executive in broad daylight on the streets of a free country is a good thing, and that you should commit a crime. And if you know anything about the assassin, you shouldn't tell anybody anything. You should just shh, be quiet. Mm. Do you know that's a federal crime? Aiding and abetting a criminal? Do you, libtard? Because see, the liberals, they're not liberal nor progressive. They're friggin' Bolsheviks. Okay, he went on to laud this individual and say that the assassin should be elevated to a position of stature and that more people should act out in such a manner. FBI, where are you on this? You can start with the individual that made that post, because I know you watch every damn thing I say. What do you think the next month's going to be like when something like this happened and then you see the voice of their internal workings? Yeah, the warmth of their hard cockles showing. Mm-hmm. Again, so the answer to them, we should have more of this. This is a great movement. Let's do this. Because, it's the people that can actually generate wealth and accomplish something in their lives and don't live in their mom's basement. They're the real threat to humanity. I think it's going to be a really interesting month. And this is what brought me around to it. I'm sitting here trying to tell my mom, who, bought one of these herself. And I'm trying to explain to her. It's like, if it ever hits the fan, Mom, it's like you have a position inside the house that you can hunker down with the dogs and my wife. You're not to do anything. See, what most neighbors don't understand that are in close quarters is that if you try to defend your home against assailants, oh, this is probably when I will start getting bleeped and glitching out. If you're trying to defend again, you need to do it from an elevated position. Those rooftop Koreans didn't just do that because they wanted the people below in a kill box. It was so they wouldn't hit their neighbors. A bullet is going to end up somewhere. It may not end up in your intended target. Oh, and by the way, that brings up another pet peeve with you. You concealed carry cheapos who think that you're legal carrying FMJ. No, you're breaking the law carrying FMJ because that projectile can pass through somebody else and kill an innocent bystander. Idiot. We should make people clear their weapons when they get pulled over. I know you ask them if they carry, you should ask to see what they're carrying. Because apparently they don't have the money in their pocket to carry a hollow point anymore, as they're required by law. So anyway, I'm trying to sound like, Mom, no, you're not going to want to let go of anything from the house because if you don't hit what you're aiming at, it could hit a neighbor. In an elevated position, much like a deer hunter, because that's why we like that, we know that if we miss the intended target, that round is going in the ground, or that bolt, so we can get that arrow and fetch it up later. Rooftop Koreans, That's how you're going to effectively, and this just goes back to the other thing about the real talk. It's like, Mom, if you ever see somebody with a Molotov cocktail and they have a vessel full of gasoline with a rag hanging out of it, and they light it up, and they're about to rear back and throw it at your house, you're entitled to shoot them in their center body mass. I, however, will not. And so you can take this to court if it ever happens, because I've already got this. I've already fantasized about this a bit. If any ass clown decides to do that to me, I'm not going to shoot that individual. I'm going to wait for them to light that vessel, and when they rear back, I'm going to basically just burst that vessel in their hand, and I'm just going to watch them basically endure what they were about to put the roof of my house through. And I think that's pretty defendable in court. I had two choices. He certainly would have died had I shot him center body mass. So I tried to do the Old West kind of thing and just shoot that Molotov cocktail out of his hand. And I'm sorry that the contents that he had inside that was lit and intended to burn my house down incinerated his ass. You better start playing through these situations in your head, because I don't think these mostly peaceful protesting people that burnt your country down during the summer of love for George Floyd, the patron saint of fentanyl. Again, it still amazes me, man. This wannabe porn star who literally worked with Derek Chauvin, and they had a history of getting into it. They knew each other by their first names, but he's going to call out, officer, officer, and call out for his grandma. What a scene. What an acting job. Cut. Put that one in the books. Floyd's probably alive somewhere. And how many caskets did they put in the ground? And he's got a statue, the patron saint of fentanyl, George Floyd. What about the thousands upon thousands of Appalachians that still got the knee on their neck? What about them? Regardless of their political affiliation, culture, class, race, religion. What about them? How do they equate? Who's they've been a very tolerant people. You take their everything for $750. You're taking their kids now. You want to not have them in tiny homes? Because you can't have a structure on the property that might interfere in you being able to take the property, right? Boy, y'all better wake up. And by the way, yeah, it is a plan. B, C, B, the banks. C, color war. D, the big D. That'd be culture. People like to kill their babies. People like to live alternative lifestyles. People like to groom kids. Hey, a child shouldn't worry about choosing their pronoun till they're 16 years old, and they get their license to kill from the Department of Motor Vehicles at the tender young age of 16. Then they can worry about their pronoun, because meanwhile, one day they want to be a doctor, the next they want to be a fireman, next they want to be a cowboy. I don't think you should be permitted to groom them in matters of sexuality, sickos. And personally, I think there should be a wood chipper for you. Because I've seen this with these people. You can castrate them. They'll grab a screwdriver. They don't care. There's one way to fix this kind of evil. And the Lord's showing it to you every day. And what are we going to do about it? Apparently not a whole hell of a lot of anything, except be good statistics and good victims. Don't go easy into that good night. Don't. Because, again, men, your job, they are the fluff to make the nest. They are to nurture. Your job's to protect. And you've been told your whole life to tamp down that inner voice that's telling you that something's wrong, that there's a threat. Oh, there's no threat. I don't need to worry about anything. Again, start setting up your counter surveillance on your own home to see if you're being targeted. Start watching your traffic. Start watching your rearview mirror. Start watching for motorcycles coming up on you real fast with two riders. And the feds, they're not driving black SUVs anymore. They're white.